Well, it's not often I make these sorts of videos. Yeah, I've got to do this because here I have what is a Wix 18-volt cordless hammer drill from 2005. 18 volts, weighs a ton, it's worked flawlessly. In fact, I've got two of them. They've been through the mill. They've been abused. They've worked flawlessly. The battery packs, however, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old, and they're on the way out. And I don't want to go through the hassle of trying to modify them for Leon battery packs and the like. I mean, this one's got charge, but it lasts 10 minutes at best. It's been a great machine. I thought, right, okay, time to splash some cash. 4 months ago, I thought I'm going to get a Makita. It was an offer. Get screw fix. It's a 18 volt, 3 amp hour unit. Brushless, and came with 2 batteries, £170. Thought, actually, do you know what? 2 3 amp hour batteries, not a bad price. What's good? Let's be positive. Let's start with what's positive. It's light. Compared to these old NiCad beasts, this is probably twice the weight of this. And this really kills you after, you know, you've been using this after 20 minutes of use. This, much lighter. Initially, when you start using it, you think, actually, it's got more torque. I can't tell because the batteries in this, you forget what it was like when you forget what the Wix one was like when it was new. But this one, tons of torque for such a small machine. You think, wow, that's great. That's good, that. Yeah, everything feels well made, fits together snugly, and then you start to use it, and it's only when you start to use devices like this after, I don't know, after a few weeks, you start to notice things and you start to pick up on things. So, you know, you can get these things out of the box, put them on the bench, do some torque tests, whatever it is, and think, oh yeah, that's nice. But actually, no, there's no point. You've got to use these things for weeks, and then you start to notice design flaws or issues. And you even start to notice the good things, the things that you think, God, it just keeps going and going. And, you know, one thing I noticed was the battery life. It's ridiculous. The batteries just go on and on forever. It comes with 2 batteries. But yeah, a tradesman could use this easily. 2 batteries would last him. If he used this thing all day, 2 batteries would do him without an issue all day. Negatives. A few issues. The biggest one is the chuck wobble. And it's got worse and worse. It wasn't like this when I got it. I've used it once on the hammer setting. Which was rubbish, to be fair. But then the Wix one wasn't great on hammer. But you know, really, if you're going to use a hammer drill function and you're going into any decent brick, you want to use a proper hammer drill. But you know, I used it once because it was convenient. But I don't know if you can see this, but I'm doing a vertical wobble there. It's probably really hard for you to see, but I can see that the whole chuck is wobbling inside the actual bar that runs into this is wobbling all around. That's just terrible. So that's the first thing. That's the worst thing, to be fair. Next thing is, you know, LED lights, brilliant. You know, you think, oh God, yeah, I can shine that on my work. There's a problem. It doesn't shine on your work. Yeah, it shines everywhere but the point you're drilling, because it's obscured, because the LED is there. That beam will never reach the end of the screw tip, so you don't know what you're drilling. You can't see it. I've tried to use this in really dark, dim conditions, and you can't. That is utterly pointless. Utterly pointless. If anything, the LED should be down here, pointing upwards. torque settings. Now I can put this on the maximum. Let's do all that all the way up. Got it on slow speed, so we get the maximum torque setting. I can hold that, and it just spins. So there's screws that I'm putting in on maximum torque. I'm screwing in, and I've hit the max on so many occasions, and I've got to put it on drill and then assess it. So what you find is these lower settings from 1 to 7, you don't use them. You really rarely use them. They're just almost, they're so fine in between, they're almost pointless. So yeah, at least I'll use this 5, and that's for small, probably 1/2 inch number 4 screws, 3.5, sorry. And then, because you have to do that, you tend to forget that when you get to the smaller screws where you want the torque, you've put it on that, and you go too far, you over torque it. If we go to the Wix one, if I, that's on high, now it's on low, let's see what I can do. Well, that's on 12, let's put it on equivalent, well, it's not equivalent 16, but it's the number 16. I can barely hold that, it starts ripping the skin off my hands. Put it on 20, it will go. Now if I'm putting in a large frame fixer into the wall, number 10, I don't know, 160 mil, you need that setting, and it will torque up to that setting, and it will kick in. The torque will kick in. The Makita, useless. You always it's just you need to go further. It needs to have higher torque settings and not have to use the drill function. Yeah. So yeah, the Wix. The advantage of having one ring as well is you've got a nice fat ring, easy to hold. It goes torques to drill and then hammer. The advantage of that over the Makita is it's quite hard sometimes to get this ring moving. It's frustrating because you forget where you were when you last used it. So there are times when I haven't got enough torque, so I've put it on drill. I pick it up, go to do another screw, move it back to, I don't know, 7, 9. Forget it's on drill. It really needs to be redesigned. Just get it into one chuck, get it into one ring. One ring like this, and you can't make the mistake. It doesn't allow you to make that error because you're either in the torque setting or the drill or the hammer, not one or the other. It's just nasty. It's a bad way of doing it. Something I probably can't get it to do now, but it does it occasionally, is when you go into high speed, the gearbox doesn't engage. You just get this weird crunchy noise. You have to give it a flick a few times and then it will kick in. Side button, yeah, it's okay, but occasionally I do knock it. This one's slightly recessed, it's harder to knock. In fact, I don't ever recollect accidentally pressing that. This one is way too easy. It gives too easy, there's not enough resistance, and when you're trying to grip, if you're going with it in that direction and you're trying to grip hard, your finger automatically, because it's in line, knocks it. Yeah, it's just poor design. It really is. Poorly manufactured chuck, or it could be a failed bearing. I don't know, or failed bushing. I don't even know if there's a bearing in there. But yeah, that's my rant about the Makita. It's going back to Screwfix. I'll give them one more go because it does come with a 2 or 3 year warranty. So get it swapped out. If it does it again or it plays me up again, I won't accept a replacement. It's they're obviously badly made. Yeah, rant over.